Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and this is what I'm going to refer to as a hole in the head, because what do I need more than a hole in the head? Another car. Bring on the Ford Focus. Now this is a rescue. This particular 2003 Ford Focus Gear, which is in apparently rather nice condition, has been languishing in a garage since 2021. Let me talk you through this rather unfortunate story and how I came to be the current owner of this rather nice car, actually. Okay, so as you may know, Ford Focuses are brilliant. The Mark I Focus was such a huge step up from the old Escorts, which had really been going further and further into the doldrums of Ford really phoning it in for a long time. So when they appeared, they were not just a breath of fresh air, they were a really exciting new car. So this is a mainstream car, one of the most popular vehicles on British and European and even American later on roads, and yet it was one of the most exciting. I've always really had a bit of a soft spot for them. I did a review of my friend Darren's one a little while ago, and you can see how good that car is in that video, but I've never owned one. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from a viewer, Paul, who said his wife's grandfather had got a 2003 Focus. He'd owned it for quite a long time, but he had to give up driving and sadly passed away about 5 years ago, and the car has been in his garage ever since. The house is now up for sale, and it's going to be cleared in 2 weeks. Is there any chance I could take this car? And I thought, well, I don't really have time. I've definitely not got space, absolutely nowhere to put it. And what am I going to do with a Ford Focus when I get one anyway? Let's do it. So my initial plan was to go and buy all the service parts for this car because it's been sat for so long. It obviously needs an oil and filter change, probably will need brake fluid flushing, definitely needs a cam belt doing on the thing. And I thought, let's go and take all the stuff, go and do all the work, MOT it locally, drive it home, have an adventure. Then Paul messaged back and said, two slight problems. First, we found a little spot of rust on the rear sill, which I'll show you in a second. I don't think anything to worry about. And secondly, it won't start now. It had been starting fine up until recently. They've been going in every now and then, giving it a quick start up, shuffling it back and forth, which is fantastic. So it's a barn find car that someone's kept mobile. Fantastic, that's unheard of. Unfortunately, it won't start now. So there goes my plan. So I can either take a chance, get a train up with loads of tools and a welder, or bring a friend and drag them on into the madness, try and do the work, try and MOT it, hope it passes and then drive it home. Bear in mind, unlike a lot of the American channels where they can buy a car and just I don't know, just get in and drive regardless of anything. We don't have that kind of luxury in inverted commas, because the luxury of driving in a very dangerous car is not something I necessarily want to have on a day-to-day basis, and I probably wouldn't want to drive a car that's been sat for several decades on the British roads anyway, way too busy. So the change of plan, I mean, you might have seen a video on Hubnut years and years ago when the channel was still fairly new, and he did exactly that. He bought, I think it was a Volvo Estate down in Cornwall, and the plan was to do exactly what I just said. Unfortunately, it took him like a week to get an MOT on the thing because it kept failing on one thing after another and having to go back for retest after retest. I don't know if he even drove it in or just got it traded home or just scrapped it in the end, because it was just a nightmare. So anyway, this thing arrived on a trailer a couple of days ago. God, the neighbours must be smiling so wide right now seeing this. And you can imagine Mrs. Furious's joy when she got home shortly after this to find a new addition. But let me quickly show you around this thing because it looks amazing. The gentleman who owned it appears to have looked after it really properly. I'm going to take off the tripod, put it onto wobbly cam and show you around what we've got here. Now, while I'm putting this car back on the road, there's one thing I won't have to struggle with, and that's insurance. As I already have a Lancaster multi-car policy covering my fleet, I'll be able to give the dedicated multi-car team a call and just add this Focus to that same policy in one easy move and have the Focus covered and ready to drive with one phone call. So big thank you to channel sponsor Lancaster Insurance for making this video possible. Now back to lying underneath this thing and making it work and get back on the road. Now you might be thinking, what was the financial implication of all this automotive excellence from the early noughties? Well, the family had a proposition for me because the house was being cleared out and this had to be gone by the end of last week at the absolute latest, because it was being sold basically. There were going to be new people coming in and the house was, well, they didn't want a Focus stranded in their garage. So it was almost emotional blackmail. If I didn't take this car, it was going to go off to the scrapyard, and I can't see a good car scrapped. That's a real weakness for me. Some people can't see a goat or a donkey go off to the knacker's yard. I can't see a good car be sent off to the scrappers if it's got life left in it. So I said I'd do it. They said though, if I could start the car it was mine. They also said if I couldn't start it, it was still mine. I just have a broken focus. So basically, it just cost me the slightly considerable sum of shipping it from Birmingham to Kent. So a couple £100 so far. There is no such thing as a free car. There's always a catch. I haven't tried to start the car yet. This is where we rolled it from the lorry into the corner out of the way. And you can see it is the rather lovely Mark I Focus metallic blue. This is the second best colour from Mark I Focus after that kind of minty green colour that they had. Now you can see got the big Ford New Edge design headlights and the sharp design of the grille and all the rest of it. It is a gear, so we've got the fog lights, we've got the body colour bumpers, we've got the alloy wheels. This is basically as high spec of a Ford Focus as you could get in 2003. So if there's a toy you could acquire, I think it will have it. We've got Firestone tyres on the front, which are very, very nice indeed. I was factoring and buying new tyres for this thing, but I don't think I need to. They're 15-inch, so probably going to have to be Fulcoms to replace them with, because it's hard to find 15-inch tyres these days. But they've got loads of tread, tiny bit of cracking, but nothing to worry about. He's done this weird thing on all the corners where he's just painted this kind of bitumen underseal stuff. So I'll get some petrol or something and try and clean this up and make sure there's nothing horrible lurking underneath there. Sills look okay for the time being. It's got Firestones on the back as well. These look a bit newer actually. More of this stuff. I will wipe all this stuff as well, because yeah, it doesn't look too sightly. Let's pop underneath. You can look better than I can. The camera goes under, but this does look actually really quite good. I can't do the driver's side right now because it's tight against the wall. And it's the 5-door, not the 3-door. We've got the gear badge on the back. It's lovely again, New Edge design, tail lights, that cool Focus logo. You know, I was at a car show recently, and the guy was looking at the Ford Focus that Darren had brought down, and he was saying, "Yeah, you know, I designed that bit of trim on the boot and the door handles," I think he said. So yeah. Now opening the car up, the interior of the car is just immaculate. Now the bodywork, although it's a bit grimy, and it has got the typical old person corners, because quite often they keep it really nicely, but do wind up doing a bit of touch parking on all 4 corners. So, and it's got parking sensors. I think these are aftermarket actually. But looking inside the car, it is just like new. I mean, first of all, look at this fabric. If you had an Escort in the 90s, this will bring it all back, or an Escort from the 90s. That lovely kind of square dot design. Actually also Mondeos, Granadas. Yeah, Mark III Granadas and the big Scorpios had this pattern as well. Really nice fabric, lovely, lovely velour. And got a cup holder, got a 5-speed manual, got armrests because gear. We've got a CD radio, got air conditioning. I reckon that probably still works if it's got gas in it, knowing the condition of this thing. That fantastic Ford Focus dashboard, all the geometric lines, the slashes, the curves. So, so cool. Got the steering wheel controls. We've got cruise control on this thing. Don't think we have. But I'll grab a key and I'll show you possibly the best bit. Now, if you had a Ford of the series, you'll remember this. It took me a while to figure it out. The bonnet release is behind the badge and impossible to do one-handed. Turn the key one way, then the other. And upsy-daisy goes the bonnet. No hood struts because it's a Ford. Quick moment for the number plate nerds among you. This was originally a Welsh registered car when it was brand new, but it was bought by the last owner in the West Midlands, so stayed down in the west of the country for a long time. This engine bay does actually look really amazing. This coolant is bright pink, looks fresh. Power steering fluid is full. The brake fluid looks all right. Everything looks incredible. I've not checked the oil yet, but even that, oops, looks fresh and clear, like someone's changed the oil just before the car got parked up. I mean, I was thinking the first thing I'm going to do is change the oil. That looks like new oil. The battery has been disconnected before it came here, so hopefully it's still holding a charge. I did actually stick it on charge the night it arrived, just to give myself a spark. Oh, wow. Did you hear that? A spark from the battery, and the central locking did something. I was factoring in new battery and new tyres, and they all seem absolutely fine. So that's on there. I'll tighten that up, and then we'll try and turn the key. Well, the clock's come alive and there's a flashing light for the alarm, so that's positive. Oh, check this out. There is even a new sump plug and washer in the thing, so the amount of care being taken on this car is just through the roof. So if I turn the key, I heard the fuel pump. They said the fuel pump was broken, but I heard the wire then. But I was going to quickly show you this for anything else. Can you see that dial? This car has got 34,500 miles on it. 34,500 miles. And I'm going to guarantee it has been serviced to within an inch of its life. I was going to try and turn the key because I heard the thing go in neutral. Okay. I definitely heard something in the back of the car. That nearly went then. I wonder if I just need a can of V-Power in it. That battery's strong though, isn't it? Now, weirdly, you do actually need the key to open the fuel filler flap, which is something you don't really see these days. But let's pop that open and see what the tank smells like. Yeah, that smells kind of varnishy. I reckon we got stale petrol in that. I'm going to go and get some V-Power, see if we can make it go. K-pop Demon Hunters. Here we go, a can of V-Power. It was at least an excuse to go for a quick run out in the MX-5, blast through the country lanes, grab a gallon of petrol and listen to a bit of 10 to the top. Yes, I'm aware there's a big pile of scrap metal down here. I haven't done a scrap metal run in a little while. And I've also got the engine of the 159 in the shed to go and get rid of as well. Anyway, do you remember when I got the Moldeo going by putting V-Power in the tank and then jumping up in the boot? Well, guess what? We're doing that again because we need to mix the petrol, the stale fuel that's in the bottom of the tank, with the new V-Power. It's dropped in. It's got good shock absorbers. Everything on this car is really good, in fact. Okay, so hopefully that's enough mixing because I feel silly. Now, if this doesn't work, what I'll be doing is taking this seat out somehow. I'm not quite sure how this lifts out, but apparently under here somewhere is an access hatch to get to the fuel pump, I hope. And that will mean I can pull the fuel pump out and replace it, and hopefully it won't be like some of the other pumps I've done, which have been an absolute nightmare. I just had a real oh my goodness moment, so I'm going to squirt some easy start in here. So I popped out the 4 bolts that hold the air filter housing down. So this is going into plastic, bear that in mind. He's put copper slip anti-seize on these bolts that are going into plastic. That is the kind of maintenance that you never see. I mean, this is like Formula 1 level. Oh my goodness, it's got a new air filter in it. This car was clearly serviced not long ago. In fact, before I do anything else, I'm going to look in the service book. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get much paperwork with this car because the house was being cleared out at the same time as the car was being cleared out. So a lot of the paperwork was lost. We've got the original handbook book pack. So I've got, what have I got in here? This is the original Ford zip-up folder. It's as soft as the lovely velour seat. So we've got paperwork from handover from when it was new. Got that owner's manual. I actually did have to look this up to go and work out how to open the bonnet because I couldn't remember about the key thing, even though I had a Mondeo that did the same thing. Audio guides, warranty guide, importantly service history log, and let's see what we can see about this car. The first service, with just over 5,000 miles on the car in August 2004, Wombourne Road, Bridgnorth Ford in Wombourne, West Midlands. That's interesting. It must have been a lease hire car if it was registered in Wales and serviced in Birmingham. So it's apparently lived its entire life in the West Midlands, because all these services, Wombourne Ford up until 2007, 2009. Oh God, no, still being serviced by Wombourne Ford in 2016. No, wait, oh my goodness, 2014. Every stamp in here is from Ford up until 2014. Wow. And it should have had a new cam belt at that point in 2014 with 28,000 miles on it. That's only 6,000 miles ago on the clock. That's ridiculous. There is, there's some alloy wheel protector. That's someone looking after the car. I've used that stuff. It stops the brake dust sticking to it. We've got, SuperGuard. The car has been SuperGuard protected. We can't have that, not in a Diamond Bright sponsored channel. We'll take that off and do it again. We've got a locking wheel nut key, that's good. Haven't got to go and hunt for one of those. Oh, blue badge, so they were a blue badge user. We have got receipts. Oh, replaced cam belt. Oh, 2014, okay, that's probably overdue now. Carried out 11-year service. Does Ford have an 11-year service in their schedule? Fitted complete clutch kit, including hydraulic slave cylinder. This was also in 2014. Oil service, oil filter, clutch kit. Clutch kit's only 120 quid on this thing. That's really good value. In total, including a service and a new clutch, £600. That's really good. Actually, how much for the timing belt? Timing belt was 290. That's good value motoring. Everyone should drive a Focus. This is 2013, year before that. £400, full service, paintwork repair to front bumper and near side wing, near side that one. I'm hoping it's not that filler I can see on the front, because if they paid 400 quid for that, I'd be absolutely steaming. Yeah, so that was mostly the bodywork repair, £400. So nothing newer than 2014 in terms of service, but clearly the car has been serviced very recently because, well, the oil is clear, the air filter is brand new, but I think what I'll actually do is I will give it a fresh oil change, because oil is hygroscopic. That's the word, isn't it? So it absorbs water and it absorbs dirt out of the engine. So even if the car has sat for a long time, you could even get petrol absorbing, permeating through the system. So oil is not as good, even though it looks good. If it's been sat for a few years and the car's just done a few cold starts to kind of keep it moving, it can be absorbing crud. But it's got a genuine Ford oil filter in it, so I think I might just leave the oil filter in there, because genuine Ford filter with 0 miles, and just put some fresh oil in there, and that will probably be good enough. But I think I will have to put a new cam belt on it though, because if the last time I've got a record of it is 11 years ago, even if it's not done it on mileage, because 6,000 miles, it's definitely done it on age, because the best service interval for time that I'm aware of on a timing belt is 10 years. So a year over on the timing belt, best possible scenario. So yeah, we're going to be careful with that. We won't drive it too far. We'll put a new timing belt on. But first of all, I want to see if this thing will work now. So put the gallon of V-Power in there. I've bounced up and down. I've let it soak. I'm going to give it a quick squirt of Easy Start and see if it'll cough into life doing that. There is a little buzz from the front. I swear I heard a buzz from the back before. That apparently nearly started then. I haven't even squirted Easy Start yet. Okay, let's put some Easy Start in there. I'm not sure that the fuel pump is actually dodgy. Okay, that ran on Easy Start really happily, didn't it? Right, let's go look at the fuel pump, because clearly this does run really nicely. Well, I've had a quick Google, and well, there is a problem here. Some Focuses, apparently you can have an access hole under the seat. Others though, you just have the wire going through and you've got to drop the tank from underneath. Now, I'm not a monster, but apparently it's not an uncommon solution on these to cut a hole in the floor above the fuel tank to save dropping the fuel tank down, because that smacks of a whole bunch of no fun to me. There is one little solution you can do. Well, two things to do if we start making holes in the floor or dropping the fuel tank out. First off, I'm going to check all the fuses. Secondly, I'm going to smack the bottom of the tank, because sometimes if it's just a sticky fuel pump from sticky fuel, that can be all it takes. Maybe even just leaving it overnight with another gallon of V-Power in there might be the other trick to do, because if it's a sticky fuel pump from bad fuel, that might be the thing. Right, so this is the lowest maintenance level of repair. It looks like this one here, R7, is the little relay that controls the fuel pump, which I can't get out. If I can switch that out with one of the others, which does work, like I did on the Rover 75, just swap that for a different fuse that's doing something different, maybe isolate that as a fault. Basically, I've played the cup game with this now. Even I don't know which fuse is which, or relay is which. Let's see if that makes any difference here at all. Interesting. I didn't, for the record, spray any Easy Start in there this time. So there's residual Easy Start or residual petrol. I'm going with residual Easy Start. Wasn't the relay. Right, so amusingly, I've just been out and spent £90 on a, it's locked, Beckerman fuel pump. But then I was just watching the incredibly informative, usually fixing and tinkering video all about how to change the fuel pump on a Mark 1 Focus. And what you have to do is jack it up so you've got access to the rear driver's side of the car. Disconnect a couple of pipes, then there's a big 13mm bolt which holds the two tank straps which come forward in a V formation. They drop down, then you lower the tank down as far as you can onto the floor on a jack, and then you unscrew the thing and you fit the new pump, and bada bing, Robert's your father's brother, you're running again. Anyway, he then checked this fuse just here, a 15 amp. I changed the relay. It doesn't actually show this fuse up here as being a fuel pump on this little menu just there, so I didn't think to check it. But this 15 ampere I just pulled out from usually fixing and tinkering's video. If you can see that, can you see that's blown? Because it is. Now I can't find another 15, but I can find a 10. So I'm going to put that in there and see if the car starts. First things first, now I've put a 2nd gallon of V-power in this thing, and then stood and jumped and shaken this car, because that does sometimes free things off in terms of the dirt. I left it in a couple of hours. Turn the key, can I hear anything? I can hear clicks and stuff. It's nearly running. No, okay, let's have a look at that fuse. It appears to have popped that fuse as well. Okay, I think what's happening is that the pump is frozen or wedged, jammed. It could actually be jammed, stuck. And so it's popping the fuse as soon as you try and run it, because there's that little kind of woof for a second and then it stops. I think the pump is actually stuck. I wonder if I could hit the bottom of the tank and make it free. I don't really want to spend an entire afternoon underneath this car doing the tank, but we'll see how we go. Well, the one advantage to spending an entire afternoon under the car lowering the tank is like on the Moldeo. Do you remember the Moldeo? As soon as I got the car running, it burst a brake line. Because like on that car, the brake lines go above the fuel tank, and so you don't get to inspect the brake lines until you drop the fuel tank. So if we have to do that, at least we get a good look at that. But judging by the rest of the condition of this car, the fact that tyres were still shined, and it's got, I would say, the copper slip on the airbox things, I suspect the brake lines in this car are going to be perfect. It's been garaged its whole life. This car is a museum piece. Apart from these frankly terrible repairs, this car is a museum piece. You've got to reach past this heat shield, and then you can hit the plastic of the tank, give it a good old wallop. And this is what the mechanic told me to do. Right, so I've given it the Italian tune-up equivalent of a fuel tank, which is thumping it with a hammer. And I've put a 15 amp, I found a 15 amp this time. No, if that was going to go, it would have gone. And I still didn't hear the buzz. I guess I'm dropping a fuel tank. And just to double check, no, that hasn't popped this time. Okay, that's interesting. As the Focus is still a non-runner, we've got to tow it out of its parking space. The SLK has a handy towing thingy on the back of it, so that will prove very useful for this job. So my first discovery, about to be jacking the car up, was that the towing eye, it looks like the boot carpet has never been lifted in its life. Towing eye doesn't actually fit the thread in the front bumper, so I had to tie that onto a suspension arm. Anyway, I've taken the wheels off, not because I particularly need to, but because I wanted to take a look at the inner wings and the brake lines and that kind of stuff, and just get a feel for how good the car is. And I'll be honest, it's a bit of surface rust in places, but overall, it's actually pretty decent. I mean, this could have been pretty horrible. The silver Mark 1 Focus I did the review on a little while ago, that was horrible. I mean, it was really, really nasty. I should probably pop this off and have a look, but I'll be honest, it looks and feels pretty good. Now this is the rust spot that the previous owners were concerned about. Now I'm going to be honest, because that's just a little kind of lip, I don't think that's even a thing to worry about. I guess I will probably have to just put a little tiny plate in there perhaps. Even just fiberglass little plate in there perhaps, because honestly you don't need it. What it does need is this terrible black bitumen stuff coming off. There's pretty much a gallon of petrol or something to wipe it all off. It just looks horrible. I don't know if that's, oh, I hope that's not been repaired underneath there. It feels solid, but it looks like there's white undercoat underneath it. I wonder if it's been scraped and they've just painted over it. The other side is, well, internally it's much the same. Can't see past that. I will pop that out later on, but I didn't want to be tackling the fuel pump job and then discovering they've got no sills around the back of the car. But looking inside here, apart from the surface rust on the suspension arms, going underneath the car as well, we've got much more the same. We've got surface rust on here, so I will definitely paint something on here because there's no paint left on this area in this quarter. Likewise on the passenger side, but everything else does look pretty decent. The tank straps have got corrosion on. That's a pretty typical thing. So what I'm going to do, and the reason I had to drag the car out, is that everyone says you need to approach this from the right hand side, from the driver's side. So I'm going to undo these two things just here, which hold this heat shield away, and then peel that back. And then looking up here, there is a big 13mm bolt, which incredibly looks factory mint. That's the best looking bolt I've ever seen, I think. So that's all good. And then we can undo these straps and lower the tank down. These are weird fixings. You can't quite get a spanner on them. They're missing one corner. I did put some bulldog on there, but it came off relatively easily. So this now can be peeled back. Just push it out of the way. Usually fixing and tinkering, undid this particular catch, which I think is a breather pipe for the tank. So that's something I'm going to do as well. I assume it's important. Wow, because we're petrol now. Next step is to chock the tank on a jack with a big lump of wood to spread the load. Get your 13mm socket and pop this big old bolt out. And we're pretty much there. And then the tank will hang down on its straps, or the straps will then fold away. Oh, I can feel the weight of the tank falling onto the thread. I think that's free. Yep, that's free. It's come down with the bolt in it. That was free as well. That means the tank is also free, and I can lower that down on that jack. Hopefully this will all come down nice and steadily and nothing will break. That's the main thing, breaking a pipe or something. So this all swings down. I think if I push that heat shield back a bit further, I can swing it a bit further down. However, it does give me a view of the brake lines above the tank, which look fine. Got our fuel in and out, got our vent and feed pipes and the power plug that goes into it as well. So that's all good. Okay, so this is a fiddly little thing. What you do is you push in the collar and then you pull out the pipe. I need the car to be about another 20 centimetres high to get my arm around it. The other one just popped out really easily. There we go. You put pressure on that, and that releases the pressure, and then the pipe just pops out. Easy peasy. Don't squeeze the side collars, that will break it. Well, fun times. It turns out if you leave a petrol tank lying on its side, the petrol tank runs out of it. I'm not sure which filler thingy it's coming out of, but as it's done in a bit of a hurry now. There we go. So this should now lift up. Oh, bloody hell, and just pry out in a gush of fuel. Marvellous. So, this is where it gets fun. And by fun I mean really not fun at all. Because it's a two-part pump. The top part is just on a trailing umbilical, and I'm now lying in petrol. So what you have to do is reach in and rotate the old one out. Not ideal. There's only about a quarter of a tank in this thing, so I don't know why it's running out quite so enthusiastically when I try and put my hand in it. You rotate it and then lift it. This is one way of removing the excess stale fuel. So I've now watched, it's everywhere. I'm going to have a shower as soon as I'm done with this. And it's dissolving my driveway, I'm sure, as well, because this stuff just eats through. Be very careful to put your float in carefully, don't knock it. Then put the bottom part of the tank in. Then you have to push it down past its kind of natural flotation instincts, it should kind of latch into place and then lock. But you've got to do it without damaging the float for the fuel gauge. Right, I'm in there. Just going to try and lock it. Oh my goodness, it's in. That was the hardest struggle ever. I gave my friend Chris a call, Chris with a K, Chris Smith, mobile mechanic. He said basically if you've got the car, you've got the tank on a bit of an angle, it will twist the tank, it'll distort the little hole it sits into and it won't go. So that's why it wasn't fitting in. What a major faff. So what I need to do is clean this up, put this ring back in between the body and the top part and reconnect the pipes and put it all back together again. Oh my goodness. And it's back up and it's in again, kind of. So rested it, so I lifted it one bit at a time onto a pile of wood, got the jack back underneath it, lifted it up squarely, and then now I can put this bolt back in and put the straps back in place. And we're in. That's why you always have piles and piles of old bits of wood lying around, because you never know when you're going to come in handy. Now I just need to reconnect this vent pipe in theory. So in theory that's done. I'm going to go grab a key and see if this does actually make buzzy noises now. Right, proof pudding, here we go. Oh, I can hear buzzy noises. Out of gear. Job done. One functioning focus. Yes! Functional focus for a win. Let's put that heat shield back on and then we're done, back on its wheels again. In fact, while I've got a gallon of petrol on the floor, I wonder if I can scrape some up and use it to wipe this bitumen stuff off. I don't want to be welding around that if I do a little plate onto that later. While the car's up in the air, I have just quickly taken the liberty of blatting that exposed metal on the inner sill with some rust neutralising primer, so it'll at least be protected. And then once that's dried off, I will have on to the next stage of sort of blacking up the entire chassis, get some rust killing built amber stuff and do the entire rear suspension, whole underbody, make it look absolutely pristine. Now something I've literally just noticed climbing in and out of the car is this service sticker. So the next service it was due was going to be in 2017 or 42,000 miles. Bear in mind it's still on 34,000 miles, but it is a few years after that. So now it is obviously the next day. You are now looking at a running functional Ford Focus, which is amazing. I've quite hankered after a Mark 1 Focus for a little while because I think it's a really good kind of emerging classic kind of a car. I really did want an ST173 door though. However, this is a really nice example. The question is, what do we do with it? But right now, the question is, what do we do? Because you can hear it running really happily. This has just been cold started this morning. And the reason it's this morning and not yesterday afternoon, as it would have been had I carried on filming, is that my next step after getting the fuel pump running, because that was what was keeping this car from moving, it does now move obviously, is the timing belt. Now I had spoken to Chris and a couple of people about this car, and the general consensus from people who know is that it's a Ford part, it's done very few miles, okay, it is kind of aged out, but you could probably risk it and be absolutely fine with that particular belt. But I have got, in the back of this car right now, no, it needs multiple clicks on the thing, I've got a timing belt and water pump and auxiliary belt all waiting to go on. And my plan for last night was to go and do the timing belt. I will put the bonnet and show you in there while it's running. Oh my goodness, sorry, just changing the subject entirely. This looks like it's got quick clear. You can see a little kind of pattern in the glass. Using the other key. We've got a button for quick clear in here. Yeah, we've got quick clear. This car has everything. Interesting, turn the AC off and on. And you can actually hear a change in the engine speed. I know it's a bit of a chilly day today, but it does feel like it's blowing cold. So that's quite impressive. As I was saying, yes, the timing belt probably will be absolutely fine. The auxiliary belt looks absolutely fine. It's ticking over like a sweetie. It's got a Fomoco oil filter on it, so that's absolutely fine. But I think I'll go up to my local Ford dealer and get another one of them, keep it in, you know, in the manner to which it's become accustomed. But I was then started watching, not that I'm ill prepared for this kind of stuff, I then started watching some things about how you actually change the timing belt on a Z-Tech. Turns out you can't wing it like you can with a Fiat or a Rover, because I've got Rover locking tools, and in fact I've done timing belts before where I've just locked the engine using zip ties to hold everything in place, and it's been absolutely fine. However, on this one, you need a really specific tool because it's got like a floating crank inside there, so you have to lock the crank and then you have to open the rocker cover off and lock the camshafts, and you're meant to change the bolts on the pulleys as well, the crank pulleys, but I don't think you really have to. But anyway, I haven't got any of those tools, so I can't wing it. I can't just take a chance and hope for the best. You actually have to do proper stuff on this engine, which I'm not equipped for. So I couldn't do it last night. I didn't have the tools, can't get the tools until today or tomorrow at the very least. And that's going to cost me a bunch of pounds, and it's going to take me a long time to kind of work my way through learning how to do it. So I made the executive decision, which is something JM on Cars actually told me to do a while ago. Just get someone in to do it. Don't waste your time doing stuff you're ill-equipped to do. It's going to take forever and it's not that exciting to watch. Just pay a man. So Chris is going to come around next week. We'll do the cam belt, and that'll be the next video, including getting the cam belt done. I've also ordered some oil from Ravenel, so we're going to have an oil change and full service on the engine. But yeah, as you can hear, it is ticking over absolutely lovely, and you saw the colour of that oil. It's amazing. So I think I'm going to spend a few minutes giving a quick clean up and then show you what this car looks like with post coming out the garage clean. Diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-doo. That is not bad for a half-hour squiz around with 2 buckets, a sponge, well, a microfiber wash mitt thing, and some watering cans. We've still got the hose pipe ban over, which makes washing cars very tricky. But yeah, Mike, just some Max Foam shampoo, tidied up the inside, the outside. It looks, I think magnificent is probably the wrong word, and a quick squirt over with some ceramic glaze, the sort of instant ceramic glaze in the can. Admittedly, Dun & Bright do have the new graphene stuff out, but I've got several bottles of ceramic still to use up, and because this looks amazing, it does have a little bit of a roughness, so it will definitely look even better in person once I've done a clay bar and a polish on it. So I'll graphene it after that. But yeah, this looks really, really nice. It wasn't really dirty, that's the thing. It was just put away clean and then it's got dusty. It's what I say about a lot of my cars. They're not dirty, they're just dusty. Inside, it doesn't really need anything. It just needs the mats shaking and you're there. So that is really rather nice. Let's pop that bonnet down for a better look. I'll give this another clean later on. I say, without the hose pipe, it's really hard to give it a proper clean. I will fully detail this probably in a video on the second channel tea break. But there you go. All done, and what a nice looking car. So the car is done. We've rescued it. If I'd known it would be that easy to change that fuel pump, I'd have done it up in Birmingham and driven the thing home. Except I wouldn't have done. Let me climb in the car and tell you this. As well as doing the timing belt, there is a second thing I should be doing right now, and that's taking it for an MOT rather obviously, because this car has sat for many years off the road in a garage, so it's not got MOT on it. Obviously it hasn't got tax on it. The problem is, I've sent off for a V5, I haven't got a V5 yet, so I can't tax it, I can't sawn it. Even if I take it for an MOT today, I can't tax it on the drive home, which I'm not technically sure you have to do. But then I can't do anything with it. And basically I'm in paperwork limbo at the moment. It's all a bit of a faff with the bureaucracy aspect of getting the car back on the road. Mechanically it's great now. Next week we'll do the oil filter and we'll do the timing belt and we'll make the thing, you know, bulletproof mechanically, which it pretty much already is. These 1.6 Z-Techs just go on forever, especially if you look after them. And this one's got many, many years of driving, many thousands of miles ahead of it. It's funny, we're sat next to the Crown Victoria, which is a previous generation of unbreakable Ford. So yeah, we've got 2 gens of brilliant Fords sitting on the drive. I haven't had a Ford in my life for absolutely years. I used to use Mark III Escorts for work back in the day, because effectively back in the 90s they were disposable. You could buy one for a few £100s, drive it until it broke and throw it away and get another one. They're terrible cars, but they were disposable. So now I've got 2 of the best Fords ever sat on the drive unintentionally. Right, so I'm going to say goodbye at this point and go and edit this video and show you what I've been up to. Please, as always, like and subscribe, you know the drill, and hit the bell notification, all that kind of thing. And really importantly, and this one makes a huge, huge difference, more than the standard stuff. If you like this video or any of my other videos, please share it with a friend. Stick it on a Facebook group, share it directly with friends in Snapchat, whatever other social media you want to be using. Because YouTube is really struggling, or YouTube is really failing to share new videos and new content from people you subscribe to at the moment. So the best way to get videos out there is to physically share it. Then the algorithm takes note and starts moving it around and sharing it to other people. So yeah, at the moment, the videos are really struggling because YouTube just isn't showing it to people who've subscribed to the channel. So at the moment, this channel is really down on views and it's really making it hard to get things done. If you're able to do that, that'd be fantastic. So thank you for watching and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.